Hi, gentlemen. In today's video, we are going to be talking about one of the first nice guy personas that I've sort of identified in my work and start to unpack him and take a first look at some of the steps that you can take if this fits you to get out of this pattern, because it's one of the most burdensome and unhappy patterns that nice guys find themselves in. And I call him the favor mule. I keep wanting to say flavor mule, which sounds a lot funner. And would be. But anyways, the favor mule is the guy who says yes to every request, every demand. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter what it costs him. He's got to say yes because, and here's his thing. Number one thing this guy wants is you want to know that you are helpful or you are dependable. It's usually somewhere in there. As long as I know that I'm being helpful or perceived as helpful and dependable, I just feel good. And if I pass up an opportunity for that, or I missed one, or I can't do it, that causes anxiety. So that's what's really powering saying yes, because he feels like he cannot afford to say no when somebody needs a favor. And his big fear is being a disappointment, or maybe more accurately, is how he owns other people's disappointed expectations. And that's the thing. If it's you have a lot of trouble really delineating for yourself, what was somebody else's expectation that they made and what did I make? Because here's the thing. Number one, he's going to train people to take advantage of him, but he's also going to attract people who want to. So he's going to have both of those in his life. He's going to have people who have learned that he always says yes, and they're kind of, it's not hostile or necessarily toxic, but they just kind of unmindfully fall into like just expecting him to be their favor mule, whereas he's going to also attract the people who like to take advantage and like to see people as, no, I manipulate you and you're here to serve me. But one of the things the favor mule does have to watch in himself is that he does overpromise, and then he does end up disappointing people, and it is his fault because he said yes to something he couldn't do. And a little mix of both of those happened to me one time years ago. I was still kind of in my like really hardcore nice guy self, and I had a friendship where this had become a pattern. And I remember there was a day that I was on my own. It was the weekend. I had some time to myself, so I was out doing something that I had been looking forward to. But I'm doing my thing, and I get this text from this friend, and it just says, "You're picking me up at the airport." Like, that's how directive it was. It wasn't like, "Hey, could you?" or "Hey, I kind of need you to." It was, "You're picking me up at the airport." And I was like, "When?" And the text comes back, "Right now." And it just pissed me off enough. And I was at somewhere in my own journey where I was finally past this little threshold of being able to go, actually, I can't. And even in this instance, that was hard for me to do. I felt really nervous doing it. I felt really audacious and like kind of a dick because I was doing something for me that didn't seem important. I was happy to be doing it. I was glad I had a chance, but it seemed like the lowest possible priority of anything that could possibly come up. So right away, even though I was pissed and I felt like I want to say no, and I was saying no, it was really scary for me to do. And like people, when they get in this mode with you, he was angry right away. And he was like, well, first he was very entitled, and he hit me back with, "No, you're not. Come pick me up." And I was just, and now I was mad. And the anger overtook the nervousness. And I just hit him back with, "I told you no, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry." And then he was mad, and he sends me there was like, "Seriously," or whatever. And I just turned my phone off. And this was really uncomfortable to do. I even showed it to my therapist later and was like, "Look at what I did." And and it was so helpful for him to go like, "Oh, wow, I really don't like how this person treated you. And I'm really proud of you for standing up for yourself." My therapist was like, "Good job." And I was like, "Really? Okay, I'll lean on your confidence in that." But that's how hard it is to do in the beginning. But interactions like that are what kind of show you like this has gotten pretty bad for you. So if that sounded familiar or triggered some emotions for you, you might be a favor mule. And I feel yeah, that is so, you just feel so unappreciated. And that's the thing. You get that high when you are dependable and somebody's like, "Thank you, you're a lifesaver," blah, blah, blah. But there's this building resentment, and you start to wonder if, like, do people value me for anything else? And there's no way for you to know, because the one of the main avenues to feel valued, to feel lovable, to feel accepted and belonging, to feel like you have, to feel like you belong, is that you do favors for people. So what does this guy do? Short answer: learn to say no. That's not helpful. How do you do that? You got to start with, how do you know when to say no? It starts with, what are your boundaries? And I know that's a word that people just say, and we honestly don't, doesn't register as having any meaning at this point. So I want you to ask yourself, what is on your off limits list? Do you have one? Like, what is off limits? What is nobody allowed to touch for you? I mean, let's start real basic. Sleep. Getting adequate quality sleep is foundational to your physical, your mental, and emotional health. Don't give it away. Even in relationships, I know you've probably heard, like, don't go to bed angry, blah, blah. That doesn't matter, actually. But sleep really needs to be on your do not touch list. And if somebody asks you a favor or makes a demand, or wants to impose something on you that is going to rob you of your quantity or quality of sleep, it's a hard no. And that can take some time and practice to get comfortable with. But remember, your emotions are going to follow. But I want you to start thinking about, what is on my off limits list? What do I need to tell people they're not allowed to touch? Or really tell yourself. Just start with your thoughts on it. And remember, when you're thinking, when we're brainstorming, we're just putting an idea down is not a commitment. So maybe you can toss it out if you want, but I want you to just start by writing down and then share with us, what do you think should be or could be on your do not disturb list?